Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 29th as well as 30th October 2023, brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy. Let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. So mentioned here are the newspaper articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. Have a look at it. Okay, let's get into the today's newspaper analysis one by one. Terror knows no borders, says India, as it abstains on United Nations resolution on Gaza truce. See, the news is linked with through under a prelims called current events of national as well as international importance. Similarly, under mains, it is linked with the topic called effect of politics of developing countries on India's interest, which comes under GS paper 2 international relation. Recently, a resolution has been passed by Jordan, an Arab country, in United Nations General Assembly under a name called Protection of Civilian and Upholding the Legal and Humanitarian Obligation in the Gaza area. So it aims to ensure the truce, the Gaza war, and also creating a humanitarian corridor so that the humanitarian relief will be reaching the Gaza civilians, those who have been affected because of the Israel-Hamas war. And then India abstained from the resolution because of two reasons. First is the resolution does not make any mention of Hamas. At the same time, it does not condemn the terror activity being made. And also, Canada proposed an amendment for this resolution, which India voted in favor of it, where it has mentioned the Hamas is responsible for the terror attack on the Israel, and at the same time there need to be a truce so that the humanitarian corridor will be established for the Gaza civilians so that the humanitarian relief will be reaching them, where India voted in favor of it because of the mentioning of Hamas as well as the condemning the terror activity on Israel. And we could able to see that India, since the Russian-Ukraine war, is following the balanced approach, even though the historical, cultural, as well as the other things, other causes which led to this war have been different, but India is taking a balanced approach. Even though India has condemned the terrorist activity on Israel, it has supported and it is standing in its two-state solution. What is this two-state solution is? Creating the independent sovereign state for the Palestinian people living side by side with the Israel. So we could able to see that even though India has condemned the terror attack on the Israel, it is supporting the Palestinian cause of creating the separate independent sovereign state. And this is what the details as well as the analysis in relation to the news. And also we should have a look into the prelims facts which have something to do with the news. The United Nations General Assembly's resolution does not hold any kind of legal binding, so that the state, those who are involved, are not obliged to act according to the resolution. And then nearly 2/3 of vote is required for passing the resolution. That is the reason why the Canada amendment is not passed in the United Nations General Assembly, because of the lagging of the 2/3 vote. But the Jordan resolution got passed because the 2/3 support it got. So this is what the factual part of the news as well as the analysis part of the news is about. Okay, what India said on terrorism in the United Nations General Assembly is, see, that terrorism is malignancy and it knows no borders, and also India follows zero tolerance against terrorism in domestic as well as international arena. The world should not buy into justification of any terror act. That is, even whatever may be the cause, even the cause may be so genuine, but the path or the process which is leading to those cause should not be violent, and it should not have any hold any kind of terror activity. This is what the stand that is India is taking on terrorism on international arena. So what need to be studied further apart from the news is, we should know about what is United Nations General Assemblies, and also we should know about what is United Nations Security Council is, and what is the difference between both of them. And also we should know about the India-Israel relationship, which has entered into 30th year of its formation, the 2022. And we should also know about the historical aspect of India-Palestinian relationship, and how the relationship has evolved and got transformed in the recent years, which I have explained in the previous current affairs session. And also we should know about the Middle East map, which is very important from the prelims perspective, because it is very repeatedly asked question, the geography of the Middle East map, so we should be aware of it. So these are all the things which is related to the analysis part of the news, and also the further things which we need to be aware of. Stuck since 1975, the JAMRANI Dam project gets the nod for construction. So the news is related to under GS Prelims, under economy, it is related to economic as well as social development, sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographic as well as social sector initiatives. Similarly, under mains, it is linked with GS paper 3, economic development, under infrastructure, energy, ports, roads, airports, railway, etc. So recently, the Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs, headed by the Prime Minister, has approved the inclusion of JAMRANI Dam under Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. The project involves construction of dam near JAMRANI village. That is the reason why the dam has been named with JAMRANI. And it is going to be constructed in the Gola river, which is the tributary of Ramganga. And then let's have a look into the statistical part of the dam. The statistical benefit is going to give. The dam will supply water to existing Gola barrage through 40.5 kilometer canal system, and then it is going to provide irrigation water to substantial area covering 57,065 hectares, which include the part of the states of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. So this is what the statistical thing of the dam. And let's have a look into the benefit of the project. See, the project aims to enhance the canal system in Uttarakhand area, not only by revamping the already existing the canal system, but also building up 2 new canal. And then this canal system will ensure the water supply for drinking water and also for the irrigation for agriculture purpose. Secondly, it also will be leading to increased power generation through hydroelectric means, so that it will add the hydroelectric capacity to the power to the power generation of Uttarakhand. So these are all the benefit the multi-purpose project has. So what is this Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana is? It is a yojana which is implemented to increase the access of water to the farm areas, so that the cultivable areas could be enhanced because of increased availability of irrigation infrastructure, and also it aims to improve the water efficiency in the farm areas through components like accelerated irrigation benefits program. So under this accelerated irrigation benefit program only, the JAMRANI Dam is going to be built, because this component looks into the irrigational infrastructure aspect of the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai scheme. And also it also another component called Harkat Ko Pani, where it ensures that the water use efficiency of the agriculture system is maintained. How? See, nearly 80% of the freshwater resource is being used by the agriculture sector. The remaining 20% or less than the 20% only being used by the industries and other household purposes. So which need to be reduced so that the efficiency of the water is enhanced. Like the case of introducing the efficient irrigating techniques like drip irrigation, so on and so forth. And then the watershed development. In, taking the watershed, the whole of watershed as the single approach to develop the watershed area, so that the recharging capacity and also other water related hydrological aspect of the watershed will get developed, so that the water related aspect of those areas will also get developed, which in turn will be contributing to the development of agriculture sector or the system in those areas where the watershed development component is being implemented. So what need to be studied further is, we should know about what does this national water policy scheme is about, water policy is about, and what objectives target it has fixed. Secondly, we should also know about Central Water Commission, its structure, function and the objective it carries. Thirdly, we should also be aware of the Jal Jeevan Mission, Jal Jeevan Yojana, the program which is being implemented by Ministry of Jal Shakti to ensure the tap water drinking, tap water for the every household in the rural areas. So these are all the policies, schemes and then the bodies related to the water which we need to be aware of. China model, India didn't follow. So what is the test? We will look into the upcoming slide. First we will look into how the news is linked with civil service examination. Under prelims, the news is linked with a topic called economic and social development, sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographic, social sector initiatives. Similarly, under mains, it is linked with Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. Okay, let's have a look into the analysis part of the news. During 1954, Lewis, who is one of the Nobel laureate in the economics during 1970, what he has said is that the underdeveloped country has enormous scope to increase its industrialization because of the availability of more labor in the agriculture system, because the underdeveloped country are suffering from a problem called disguised employment. So that this surplus population or the labor force could be easily sucked out by the manufacturing sector, and it could be employed and it could be utilized in the manufacturing sector, so that their livelihood also will get increased, which in turn will be leading to overall benefit of the economy. So this is what the thing which was suggested by Lewis during 1954, and he has said this thing by keeping India on his back of the mind. So what scenarios does India has? Whether India has achieved what Lewis has said is, so the data shows other thing. During 1990s, nearly 2/3 of the workforce has been present in the agriculture system. But we could able to see that during 1993, 94, 2011-12 period, there is a drastic decline in the agriculture, the workforce in the agriculture, from 64.6% to 48.9%. But during the same period, the manufacturing share rose only marginally from 10 to 12%. So then, where the surplus population, those who came out of the agriculture system gone to is, they have moved towards highly productive service sectors, like in the case of IT, and then the rising gig economy work. And also we could able to see that during the post pandemic, the percentage of workforce being involved in the agriculture sector is 42.5%, but it got increased after pandemic to 46.5%. Similarly, as I have said, during 93-94 to 2011-12 period, there was only marginal rise in the manufacturing workforce, and before the pandemic we would able to see that nearly 12.1% of people being involved in workforce of manufacturing sector, but it got drastically reduced after pandemic to 11.4%. So this kind of thing is happening in the agriculture sector. And then the other sectors like construction, trade, as well as hotel and restaurants, which are mostly of informal, and it does not hold any kind of remuneration for the laborers, and also it has several lacunae for the labor benefits. Such kind of sector is also employing more number of workforce when compared to the formal manufacturing sector. So this is what the scenario in India. So what China did in 1970s is that during 1970s, China leveraged its large pool of labor who are present in the agriculture system to make themselves and to reskill and then revamp and then reintroduce them in the manufacturing sector, so that China became a world factory now. Right now they are the global manufacturing hub because of the initiative which was taken by China during 1970s. Why India can't do is that, see, during 1950s, the Lewis said the absorption of manufacturing sector, the absorption of the labor force by the manufacturing from the agriculture sector, by keeping the factory system in his back of the mind. The factory system is, during that time, India has more number of textile mills and many other mills which employs the workers. But the nature of the manufacturing sectors has evolved and transformed itself into a capital intensive sector which employs the capital intensive thing like labor saving, labor displacing technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning and other automation stuffs. So which reduces the tendency of human need in this sector. So that is the reason why it is leading to lower absorption of the manufacturing, lower absorption of labor force in the manufacturing sector. And right now the factory system is also meager only. It is what factory system which is present in 1950s in India is not present in 2023 in India now. So this two reason is the reason why India could not be able to pull out those people from the those enormous excess labor force in the agriculture system to manufacturing sector. What India doing now is, right now Niti Aayog is preparing new economic model specifically suited for India to explore the scope of creating a remunerative job in as well as out of the in and around the agriculture system. So right now the preparation is going. Let's wait and see what is going to happen. So what need to be studied further is, we should know about the periodic labor force survey. What data it has been released, it has been released recently, a data, we should be aware of it, and we should also know about which ministry is responsible for releasing it and what are all the indicators it is measuring. Secondly, we should also know about what are all the different types of unemployment that is present in Indian economy, and then we should also be aware of the liberalization, privatization, globalization effect on the Indian economy. Finally, you should be aware of the gig economy. What is gig economy? What is the characteristics does it have? What is the advantage and disadvantages it holds for the society as well as the Indian economy as the whole. The change and challenge. So this is the another article being linked with the Israel-Hamas war. So the news is related to current event of national as well as international importance in prelims. Similarly, under mains it is linked with effect of policies and politics of developed and developing countries in India's interest and India's diaspora, which comes under GS paper 2 international relationship. See, recently, as I said, India voted abstained from the voting in the United Nations General Assembly's resolution which was passed by the Jordan and the support of other Arab countries. And as I said, India voted in favor of Canada's amendment, shows the shift in the India's Middle East policy. What is the shift is, previously, whenever there is a resolution that is coming up against Israel means India will be voting for it. But this is the first time that India has abstained from the resolution that is pitted against the Israel. This marks a clear shift. What is the reason is, the shift is rooted in the shifting of regional dynamics like increasing closeness of the Arab as well as the Israel, and also the India's interest in terrorism, not only in domestic arena but also in the international arena. India is highly affected because of the cross-border terrorism. That is the reason why it is internationalizing the issue, and it wanted the terrorism should be end not only in India but also across the global, because as I said, the terrorism holds no border, which was said by India in the United Nations General Assembly. And at the same time, India is also supporting the Palestinian cause through the two-state solution, that is creating a separate state, separate independent sovereign state for the Palestinian people. The article also suggests the three way forward which need to be followed by the India. What is that is, even though India abstained from the resolution that was passed in United Nations General Assembly, it has a concern for the Palestinian people also, which need to be clearly communicated to the other Arab world, the other Arab countries, which India is right now doing. And India has reached the Egypt president as well as the king of Jordan as well as king of the Sultan of Oman, etc., to indicate the stand of India and the concern it is having for the Palestinian cause. And then secondly, the opposition party in the country need to be sensitized so that they also could able to understand about the regional shift in the regional shifting dynamics in the Middle East, and also India's interest in the abolishing the terrorism in all forms in domestic as well as international arena, so that they could also be empathized, sensitized, so that the whole of India approach could be taken. Thirdly, there is increased disinformation being spread by the miscreants in the cyber world in India, where more number of fake news has been spread through the online world, is mostly of the nature of repressing the cause of the Palestinian people, which should be heavily cracked down by government of India. Why? Because it tarnishes the India's image in the international arena. So these are all the other things which we need to be aware of. And also what we need to study further is, we should know about the India's energy import. Why India is, after abstaining from the UN, India is reaching every other Arab country individually to explain our stand. Why India is doing is because of the two major reasons. First and foremost is, right now the 50% of our energy need dependent on the stability of Middle East. If the Middle East, because we are importing 50% of our energy need from Middle East, and if the Middle East is stable and it is in peaceful mode only, the energy security of the India will be ensured. Secondly, nearly 90 lakh of our population are right now working in different countries of Middle East, so that since more number of diaspora has been working in Middle East, the remittance and also their wellness is also very important for Indian economy as well as India as a whole. Thirdly, we should also be aware of the Middle East, the geography. As I said, each and every year there is a question directly or indirectly related to the Middle East geography which is being asked frequently. So these are all the other areas which we need to be aware of. Jehovah's Witness, whose Kerala prayer gathering saw the bomb blast. See, this is the news related to the recent bomb blast which took place in Ernakulam in Kerala. The news is linked with under prelims, current event of national as well as international importance, and under mains it is linked with salient features of Indian society and diversity of India. The news is, the bomb blast news is of less importance, but we should be aware of the Jehovah Witness, because the person who has claimed that he is the responsible for the bomb blast is belong to Jehovah Witness. And what is that Jehovah Witness is? It is the Christian denomination, and it is linked with Christianity, and they don't believe in Holy Trinity, that is the doctrine of God existing in three forms, three equal, that is in Father, Son, as well as the Son Jesus and the Holy Spirit. And they believe Jehovah is the only God and only true as well as the only God. And then they don't celebrate Christmas as well as Easter. And how the Jehovah Witness has evolved is, we could able to trace their evolution during 1870s Bible student movement, which was started in India by Charles Tess Russell, who is the US pastor. And Jehovah Witness in India made its physical presence during 1905, and it has established its office in Bombay, which is now Mumbai, during 1926, and it is legally registered in India since 1978. And the Jehovah Witness is also linked with a famous case which we need to be aware of, Vijay Emmanuel, the state of Kerala in 1986, where the Supreme Court has granted relief to the siblings, the three siblings who belong to the Jehovah Witness community, where the Supreme Court has given relief to them, where they could not, where the singing national anthem violated their freedom of religion under Article 25. Why? Because they worship only the Jehovah. Since the national anthem is in the form of prayer, the siblings or the three brothers does not wanted to sing, and the school suspended them, and the parents reached the High Court as well as Supreme Court, and then Supreme Court ruled in favor of those siblings. This is what another aspect linked with Jehovah Witnesses. So what need to be studied further is, we should know about the Article 25. Every clause of the Article 25 we should be aware of it. Secondly, we should also know about the Ernakulam, the geography itself. So these are all the other areas which we need to be aware of. Okay, let's have a look into today's prelims practice question. So mentioned in the board is the today's practice prelims question. I want those students, those who are watching the session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. Okay, with this we have reached the end of today's session. So thank you, and please do like, share, subscribe, as well as comment to the daily current affairs session, as well as the other session brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy. Thank you.